Welcome to another edition of It's a Long Beach Thing. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and like us on It's a Long Beach Thing on our Facebook group. It's a great Facebook group where you can promote everything about Long Beach, your business, what's going on in the community. Anything about Long Beach goes. So go to our Facebook group, It's a Long Beach Thing, and enjoy. We have another great show for you today. We have my new friend, the owner of the Parkeast Fitness, Trey Blaubach. Hey, Trey, how are you today?
Hey, Paul. Nice. It's a good day today. It's almost Christmas time. Here we are, and the holiday season is upon us. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Well, thank you for coming on. I mean, your gym is literally down the street from where I live. Matter of fact, when we met for the first time, I actually walked to your gym. So I always like to have people that are really in the community next to me, not only Long Beach, but in the Zaporia district where I live and where
The,
your business is.
the Zaffaria, that's right where we are. It's a neighborhood thing for sure. The Zaffaria, I don't know if a lot of people in Long Beach really know of that neighborhood, but it's on the Anaheim corridor, and we businesses here in that corridor kind of like do different events, and it's a really nice little community that we've got.
I love it. Well, let's dive in, shall we?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, Trey, what's your first association with this great city of Long Beach?
Uh, it goes back to I moved to LA in 1999, and I had made different friends throughout the LA area, but some of my friends were living here in Long Beach. Whenever I would come and visit them, um, I was just like, oh man, this is a really cool vibe down here. I really like this place. It's got character, it's interesting, it's more relaxed than LA. And whenever I would come visit those friends of mine, I just was always into it, And after living in LA for a few years, I had a friend who was moving to Long Beach from LA, and she invited me to move down here with her, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. So that was in like 2001 that I moved from up there to down here, just across town, and I've loved it ever since.
So where are you originally from?
I grew up in Wisconsin, and I also lived in Florida before I lived in California. So I've lived in a few different places, but I've been here in SoCal for, a couple of decades now. So this is definitely home for me.
I would say so. I would imagine the climate from Wisconsin, especially during this time of year, you referenced that we're in the Christmas season. So I would imagine that Wisconsin this time of year is much different than Southern California, Long Beach this time of
It's
year.
quite different than here. You know, I like to go back and visit Wisconsin in the summertime. The summertime in Wisconsin is absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous. We got lakes and all that kind of great outdoor vibes there, but a lot of the year it's pretty crappy weather. So we're so spoiled here. After living here for a while, you go to other places and you're so like, I want to go back to Long Beach, go back to California. So yeah, that's one of
So
the reasons why we're all here.
yeah, absolutely. So
One
growing
of them.
up in Wisconsin, did you think to yourself, maybe not you thought that you were going to be in Southern California or Long Beach, but did you think that you were going to stay there in the long term, or did you think that oh, you know what, this is what I know. I think I'm going to stay here. What was your thought process there growing up?
When I was like 18 years old, I wanted to get out of Wisconsin. Not only for the weather, but just, I wanted to see the world. And I just knew there was something else out there. Nothing against Wisconsin. I love it. There's wonderful people there. Just realness is great. But I just wanted to see, more of the world and check out some bigger cities. This was more my vibe. So I lived in Miami for a while, but then a good friend of mine helped him move cross country from Miami to LA, and we drove cross country. And it was kind of interesting. The day we drove into the LA area was the winter time, and a storm had just gone through. Our winter storms here, and the clouds we're partying and like literally like driving through the Inland Empire, the clouds like parted and I saw the snow on the mountains. I was like, ah, this is home for me. So ever since I've been like, I gotta be here. So
When you drove cross country, that's very interesting, very fascinating, especially in the winter time. So you probably went through all kinds of weather systems to get to California, and
yeah.
fitting that when you got to California, the clouds opened up like opportunity, almost like a symbolism there.
Yeah,
Were you-
absolutely. That's the California vibe, you know.
yeah, absolutely. So did you visit California as a kid? Did you know anything about California?
No, that was actually my first time in California was that day. And it was my first time seeing it in that manner with, snow on the mountains. I'm an avid hiker. I love the mountains. I love the outdoors. So that was really what drew me the most. I mean, of course, the weather's great and everything, but just being able to get outside and do all these like great outdoors things that we can do here, the variety of things was really what drew me here.
It's crazy that you mentioned that. We could literally in one day you can go skiing and go to the beach all the same day in Southern California. I don't know too many other places you can do that in one day.
There's not a lot of places that you can do that now. I mean, I've been skiing at Mount Baldy. When I first moved here, I went there a little bit more than I do now. But there was one time where I was literally skiing down one of their ski runs, and it was a clear day, and I could literally see not only the ocean from the ski run that I was on, but I could actually see the island of Catalina in the distance, and it was just like, oh wow, this is like crazy. There's not a lot of places that you can do that.
Yeah. Now, was your family sad to see you go? I mean, you were young. 18 is young. I know. What are you, a are you Gen X generation?
No, no, I think I'm a little older than that. So, but no, I mean, of course, my family, it was sad, leaving, Wisconsin is this small town, a lot of people know each other. But my family is always very supportive and we're still close. I mean, logistically, we can't see each other as much as we did then, but we're emotionally close and they're very supportive family.
Oh, so they saw, hey, you needed more,
This is
you need a different
yeah,
opportunity, and they were like, hey, you know what? We're not going to stop you. Be you, do your journey.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, well, that's great. That's very supportive parents because selfishly, they don't want to see their baby boy go away, but they see the opportunity that you found going to Miami, which is a big city, and then going cross country to California. They must have saw the opportunity for you, and good kudos to you at 18 years old to have the strength to move away because that's not easy for kids, especially at 18. That's all you know is Wisconsin, the small town of Wisconsin. So kudos to you to have the bravery of not knowing the unknown and going to a city like Miami because Miami is a big city, as you know better than I do.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that transition period from going to a small town in Wisconsin to Miami, Florida, where it's a metropolis.
Yeah, it was like a whole new world, I mean, I don't know if you've ever visited Miami, but it's a very multicultural city. It was so different. It was just everything was when you're young at that young age, you're just in this like learning phase and absorbing, and yeah, just soaking it up. It was great. Just times that experiences that you'll never forget, people that you meet, and it was just a big adventure. Um, and coming out here to California from there, wasn't too big of a transition. For me, it was more of just a transition of, oh, there's so many more things to do out here than there is in Florida. That being like all the outdoor stuff. For me, Florida was a little bit more of a one note. So you gotta like to go to the beach, and you gotta like to go to the beach, and that's about it.
Mm.
For me, that was my experience. So while that was really neat and everything, great place, yeah, out here is where my heart is. This is home for me. So
Well, it sounds like you've always been an active person, especially in Wisconsin. I'm sure you did a lot of outdoor activities and camping and such that you've
Yeah,
taken with you in your heart through Miami and
absolutely.
now to
E-
California. Um,
Exactly.
so fitness has always been probably a big component in your lifestyle, probably as a kid.
Yeah, actually, when I was about 14 or so, I found myself, wanting to exercise. Coming across like, those fitness magazines where they show you different exercise, look at those and be like, oh, this looks cool. I was just intrigued by it. And I would like go on running and try some like push-ups and stuff like that. Try to do things that I could kind of like mimic in those magazines. And then like at a certain age, I forget how old I was, maybe 16 or 17. I bought like one of those like Bowflex things or whatever they're called, the little home system or whatever, and played with that. And just for me as a teenager, I had a lot of angst like a lot of teenagers, and for me the exercise was like an outlet, just like self-regulation and physical, mental, emotional. I found that it was just really what I was looking for.
Interesting. So when you came to California, were you in the fitness field or were you in a different field before you got into it?
I was in a different field. Actually, I was going to school up in Santa Monica for photography. Interesting enough. Very different than fitness. And I was in that for a few years, and I really, really liked it. I enjoyed it. And it just felt like something was missing. And I couldn't put my finger on it, but it just didn't feel like it was quite the right fit. And at that same time, a good friend of mine that lived in LA as well, she was a physical therapist friend of mine, and we spent a lot of time together. And now she has moved away, but at that time she was a really good friend of mine, and we spent a lot of time together. I'd always ask her questions about her work as a physical therapist, and I was always like picking her brain and asking about corrective exercise. I already had the fitness um interest already, but I really want to know about like corrective movement, what she does with her clients. And so this went on for a while, and she was moving to Long Beach, and she's like, oh, do you want to move to Long Beach with me? I'm like, oh yeah, I love Long Beach, that would be great. She's like, I think you should also think about, I really think that you should try like personal training. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she said it a few times, and over a period of time, I was like, you know what? I think she's right. I'm going to try something different. Just totally switched gears. Uh, I've always been the type of person that isn't afraid of change. I like change is exciting to me. And I just thought, oh, I'm going to try that out and see if I like it. And she was right. Come to find out, then after doing it for a while, I realized that that's the thing that was missing in my pursuit of like photography was, I found what that missing thing was like the human element. That's, photography is cool and everything for me, but there was no like real like human interaction and exchange with other people, ideas and you know, it's just the human element was missing.
Hmm. So I would imagine at that point in time you were making ends meet as a personal trainer, correct?
Well, actually, while I was going to school, I was working in the restaurant industry. But then when I moved to Long Beach, I started personal training and just immediately went to work. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's
yeah.
what I was getting at. So what I was going to ask you is what were you doing before that? And it sounds like you were in the service industry to
Service
make ends meet.
industry, going to school at the same time. Yeah.
And then once you transition to Long Beach, were you still going to Santa Monica College for your photography degree, or at that point you're like, you know what, I'm going to put this on hold?
I put that on hold. Just totally made a huge transition, both with where I was living and what I was doing for work, and just, took up a whole new direction. Yeah.
Was there a learning curve with that with the personal training?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a certain amount of learning that one does to get certified, but then there's another level that one acquires through the actual process of doing it. Also, I was able to get mentored by somebody, Mike Henderson, who no longer lives here in SoCal. He's up in Northern California now, but he's just kind of a guru in the functional training arena, and he, basically taught me a lot of what I learned, and it was a great experience. I did that for a couple of years and really just studied under him. And he shared with me all of the more advanced insights into functional movement and personal training. And that's where I learned a lot of the skills that I use now with my clients.
Mhm. And I would also imagine as a personal trainer, there's a lot of motivation and conversating with your client. And I almost feel like as a personal trainer, I almost feel like that's probably even stronger to have those skills than you are about the knowledge of personal training. Would you agree with that, or am I way off base there?
Absolutely, absolutely. The relationships that we have with our clients is it's a complex thing, and there's a lot of sharing, there's a lot of learning, there's some psychology involved, and it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship, that we have, that's the way I see it, because we're both learning from each other. One of the cool things about the experience with my clients is that I get to learn things from them about life, about challenges. People, clients come in and, yeah, everybody wants, six-pack abs, but there's oftentimes, many times where they're looking for more than just that. They're looking for something. Either they're looking for direction on a certain level in their life, that this kind of can use this to kind of harness to take over to other, parts of their life. And those are the really interesting things to me where you can actually make a difference in people's lives in more than just, oh, I have nice biceps. It's like, okay, that's boring. I mean that's
Yeah.
great and everything, but that, whatever. Let's talk about, like lifestyle changes. What are we doing? What's going on in our lives? How are we going to make our lives better? How can we make changes in our life that's going to affect not only like physically feeling stronger, but feel better about ourselves and our life experience. That's the fascinating stuff. That's that human element with my work that I adore and I'm passionate about.
So you were a personal trainer, and then the entrepreneur bug hit you, and you thought, well, maybe I should open up my own gym or center. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I had been working at a couple different gyms here in Long Beach for a few years. And I always wanted to open my own place. It's just I've always had this desire to like create something and to start something that I could just, like just jump in and, have every little element requires like my thought and my ideas, and that's starting a business like a brick and mortar, you know what I mean. I've always had an interest in that, and the whole time that I was working for the other gyms I would kind of like just drive around Long Beach and the different neighborhoods, and I would just like, for a few years I would just think about, if I were to open a studio, what area would be the best area, both like demographic wise, location wise. you know People when they're looking to start a fitness plan, it's like such a huge interruption into their schedule. And that's one of the biggest challenges is like, how in the hell am I going to fit this into my busy schedule? So with that in mind, people don't want to drive, 20-25 minutes to go to the gym, which is going to then take them another hour of working. The whole thing is a lot of time. So you got to really choose like your location well. And so, I would spend time like driving around, narrowing down the neighborhoods, what's centrally located to certain demographics that would support the business, and then just like, just staking out the different commercial spaces when they would come and go, and just saving up money and getting ready. And I had my eyes on this space that I'm in now for a while actually, and it took a little bit, but finally the opportunity made itself. known and presented itself. And we opened our current location in 2010. So we've been here for 14 years.
Where were you? What was your location? Where was your original location at?
Near the traffic circle, very close to here, just 5 minutes away. We were in another space. My old business partner and I, and some other trainers, and then we opened this one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Is that where the UFC gym is now?
it's right near there. Yeah, very near there. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah.
So when you talk about that learning curve, because that learning curve, being an entrepreneur, is even steeper, I would imagine, than getting your certificate and being a personal
Uh,
trainer, because there's a lot more moving parts, as you know, which you're still doing to this day.
yeah, oh man, yeah, opening your own business and yeah, there's always stuff that, that especially at the beginning, it was a lot, but it's also so exciting. You have a lot on the line. It's a big gamble. You put in a bunch, basically all of your money. For me, it was all my money in this venture. You don't know if you're gonna lose it all. It was so fun, it's exciting and it's nerve-wracking. It's a lot of hours, a lot of hours. You have to really have stamina and be ready for, a crazy amount of hours and dedication to making it work. And either you have the passion to do it or you don't. There's some other things too that can make or break it, but you really got to have that passion for what you're doing.
So you talked about a lot of hours. What was it mostly spent doing? Marketing and selling your business, or where was you
Oh,
spending most of your time doing?
originally,
Originally, yeah.
um, all of those things, all of
Mhm.
those things. Marketing is always a huge thing. Um, we've actually always done well on word of mouth referrals, and that's primarily how we get a lot of our new clients. So that happens just by doing what you're doing and try to do a good job doing it. Um, but just the day to day, acquiring, the equipment and all of the different things, you have an idea of like how you want your space but you may or may not have all the resources available to you right away to like buy all those things and create all those things. So it took a while, but here we are and we're here. We got lots of clients that are happy that have been coming here for years. So it's really worked out. The space that we're in right now, I love. It's great. Right across the street is a beautiful park and we have big windows that you can look out at the park. So it's a very pleasant space with a lot of light, really good vibes, not too busy, but busy enough. The neighborhood is really nice. So yeah, it's an ideal space. I've always wanted to open a space here, and I did. So
And so, if the viewers didn't catch it, he's in Park Estates. If you take Anaheim into Park Estates, and you have that little curvature, it's on the right hand side. You're going into it. What is that park on the left hand side that you reference? What's the name of that park? Do you know?
that park is Los Altos Plaza.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
And there's a what? Do you know what the name of that building is? That big, tall building across the way from you?
So there's a big, tall, brown building across the street, which was the home of Cambrian Home Healthcare. They have since moved very recently to a new space, but they were in that space for a very long time, and I still think they have the signage on that building.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you see that building, he's right. He's right there. But
right behind
Park
it. Yeah.
Estates, most people who are listening to this podcast know Long Beach pretty well. And when you say Park Estates, that is a beautiful neighborhood to be. Is Park Estates. Now your business is called Parkeast Fitness. Tell me about the origin of that name.
So across PCH is Rec Park, the golf course. So you have those parks over there, which is just to the west of there. And I didn't want to name the business Park Estates Fitness. I don't know, just I don't want to. And we are east of the park, which is right across. So it's kind of a combination of those elements.
I like that. I like that. So, if somebody new, from the Park Estates area or the Zaporia area came to your gym, what are the some of the things that they're going to get from that?
Well, they're going to get a very tailored program. Um, when we opened this, our goal was to create a space that was very comfortable, private, alternative to big box gyms, where their program is going to be very tailored to what their needs are. It's not like, oh, everyone who walks in, oh, this is the workout we're doing this week. Oh, it's on the board. That's what a
Mhm.
lot of these studios do now is they have training, personal training that is you and seven people, working out together. It's like and that's great and everything, that group thing. But what we do is we tailor a program based on your needs and based on a movement screen. We take a very close look at what's going on with your body, how your body wants to move, any kind of compensations or challenges it might have. And then we make a program based upon that and what your goals are, and create something that's going to help you not only, like I said, build muscle or lose weight or whatever it is, but also to function better, to avoid injuries, and to maximize the potential of your body.
I would imagine with that, a diet's got to play a big role in your plan. Um,
Absolutely.
what would you tell some, because diet's tough. I mean, I know a lot of people that can go to the gym,
Yeah,
and that's no problem for them. They love the
yeah.
gym, they can go to the gym. But you talk about taking away some of their foods, they're like, oh no, 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 you ain't taking away my foods. So what
Yeah.
small changes can somebody implement to help them with that so they don't have to go drastically and take out all the foods that they love to eat?
Yeah, so that's exactly it. You hit on that point. A drastic, diet or a huge plan where you're cutting out huge parts of what you're eating, to if you're losing to weight, if you're looking to lose weight and you're on some like dramatic weight loss diet, and there's a lot of them out there, it's not very sustainable. I mean, you can do that for a few months and that can be effective, and it usually is, but then is this the type of eating that you can do basically for the rest of your life? I mean, this isn't about going to Hawaii in March. It's about this is the rest of our life, and we need to find a system, explore different systems, find the one that works for us. And then this is something that we do. This is not like just a month or 2 month thing. Uh, what we really want to do is we want to find what works for us. There's different ways to get to it. Whether it's, counting calories, whether it's, cutting your carbs, but still eating certain amount of carbs. There's a way to fine tune this, and different things work better for different people. And we explore the options. But for the most part, I would say the number one thing for managing one's weight is just to start keeping track of what you're eating, with like a food journal or an app. There's the zillion apps now that do this, where you can look up everything, the macros of every food that you eat is on these like databases. Whether it's fast food or recipes that you actually have the time to cook at home, or the nice thing now is we have the opportunity to utilize these meal delivery services. So that's a really nice option for a lot of people. A lot of people are doing that now, where you can actually tell them this is how many carbs I want in this meal, or this is how many calories I want in this meal. That's a good option. But whatever it is, you have to start keeping track of what we're eating. If you're asked like, what did you eat yesterday? And you're like, I don't remember. Or what do I normally eat? And you don't even know like, about how many calories you eat a day, or like what, the macros or ballpark are for your eating. You probably need to start taking a closer look at that. So,
So those people that don't know what macros are, can you explain that to us?
like the ratio of like protein and carbs and fat.
Okay.
Yeah, what is this food? What is this meal comprised of?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Another thing that I find helpful in when you're talking about, because you're really not talking about diet, you're really talking about lifestyle change, correct? You're not,
Yes.
because diet
Yes.
sounds like that's kind of a temporary fix. You talk about like going to Hawaii and having a diet to go to
Yeah.
Hawaii, but you're talking more, this is a lifestyle change. This is what, this is my habits going forward. And I think one of the things that to build that lifestyle change as far as your eating habits are concerned is not having the guilt or the shame on eating a certain type of food. So, for instance, like you talked about before, we're in the holiday season, and around the holiday season, there's a lot more get-togethers, and at these get-togethers, a lot of times that there may be alcohol or there may be foods that are really, really good, but may not be the great for, as you talk about, your macros.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at by saying that is I feel like, and rather than shaming yourself for eating that food, I feel like you should celebrate yourself for eating that food. Going, oh, you know what? I'm going to eat this food and I'm going to enjoy it because you know what? For the last 2 weeks, I've been right on my scale of what I'm eating. You know what? I'm going to
Yeah.
celebrate this and I'm going to enjoy every single bite of this food. And then tomorrow, I may make a different decision. I may go back to what I was
Yeah.
doing before that.
Yeah, guilt and shame, which are often associated with certain eating patterns that are programmed into our psyche, those are never helpful, and those create a cycle of it's like a downward spiral, this repetitive yo-yoing, and definitely want to take a more enlightened approach to the whole thing. It's not rocket science, and it really can be simplified. What There are different plans that work for different people, but generally speaking, what I tell my clients is the one I would start off with, and what I find is the most successful for weight management is really simple. It's just counting calories. You know what I mean? Calories in and calories out. And the metaphor that I use is almost like having a budget. Um, we all know how to budget these days, especially, with inflation, this and that. We're all familiar with budgeting and, how far our dollars go. And for why not, think of our calories the same way. It's like, say, for example, in order for me to achieve the body composition that I'm looking for, I can eat 1,800 calories a day. That's like dollars, you know what I mean? And just start keeping track. Okay, that cheeseburger from whatever place, you can look it up, and that's 700 calories. You know what I mean? That's like $700, and I only have 1,800 to spend today. So it's fine, have a cheeseburger. But now you have so many calories or dollars left in the day. That's your budget. I mean, how are you going to spend them? There's no guilt, there's no shame. But when the calories are gone for that day, they're gone, just like dollars. So I find that that's the easiest way to approach it.
But you also mentioned burning calories. So does that play something into the equation or no?
It does. And a lot of these, apps, factor in, oh, you did a 200 calorie burning workout today at the gym. So you actually get 200 calories back in your daily budget. I don't do that. No, that's really, really optimistic.
Mm.
And really, I just delete that feature, or I tell my clients to just don't even pay attention to that feature or turn it off if that is on there, because really, like if that's 1,700 calories a day, you just need to stick to the set. You should be working out all the time
Mhm.
anyway, and just stick to the budget. Yeah.
And for some people, I get what you're saying, but for some people, that might be a motivation to get to the gym, though. You know what I
It
mean?
is. No, it's absolutely a motivation. Absolutely. But the pitfall with that is, from doing this for many years, if you're budgeting in, 300 calories from, whatever fitness class you took, or whatever, and then you're going to add 300 calories onto what you eat that day, the results are not going to show up as well as you want them to. So I don't do that.
Makes sense. That makes sense. So, what's the future of Trey and Park East Fitness?
Oh man, more of the same. We have such a wonderful vibe and a nice group of people that come in here. We're just looking to have more people find us. We're busy now. There's a bunch of trainers that work here, and we all have a bunch of clients that have been coming here for a long time. But it's always nice to see a new face. We're not going anywhere. This is our space. And we're just hoping that more people find us and can find that we help them for what they're looking for.
And what advice would you give somebody, wanting to change their fitness journey or their lifestyle
Mm,
journey to be more healthy, maybe because of the high blood pressure or
yeah,
just being too stagnant, not having the movement they once did?
I would say find something that you enjoy. You know, Maybe some people are not interested in going to a gym or my studio, and that's fine. Find something that you like. If it's, say, you like hiking or running or pickleball, do more of that. Do more of that. And then once you've done that, think about adding something else in, incremental additions to your program instead of like, oh, I'm going to start off, with this huge, 5 day a week personal training program. Is like you can't go from like 0 to 60. Like the rate of dropping off, the likelihood of drop off is higher. You really want to just start small and incrementally add more things into your life. Okay, maybe I want to now add a long bike ride into my routine, and do that for a month or two. And then maybe I want to do one more thing, or maybe that's when I want to start maybe strength training with somebody or something. Start small and build up.
Mhm. And if somebody's listening to this or watching this and wants to check out your studio, what would be the best way to do so?
Just go on our website. Yeah, parkeastfitness.com, and check it out. You can try a jump start session, which is a free session, your first one with a trainer, and we'll go through like a movement screen, like I talked about, to figure out what's going on with your body, and help you do some goal setting, and then do a short little workout, all of that in 1 hour, and just see if you like it. Yeah.
And what was the website again?
Parkeastfitness.com.
.com. Great, great.
Yeah.
Before you go, is there anything that you would like to tell our viewers about fitness or anything that you want us to know?
I would say that fitness can go beyond, reps in a gym, and sets on a machine. It can really do a lot for your life. Not only is it going to make you feel better physically, but mentally and emotionally, and it can really be a catalyst for moving in a new direction with a lot more than just fitness.
Absolutely. And I always like to end on a fun question. I know we talked about diet and all this good stuff,
Oh
but I
yeah.
want to put that diet on for us on the side and ask you, what are your favorite places to eat around town when you
Uh,
do like to reward yourself?
well, for Thai food, I love Manao Thai on Broadway. It's so good. Everything they do there is delicious, and that's a great one. And then I would say the other one is right around the corner from where I live is La Parolaccia. It's an Italian restaurant on Broadway there. The food is wonderful. The Neapolitan thin pizzas uh, are delightful, and the staff is so friendly.
Is that
Yeah.
by Cherry Park?
It's not far. It's not far from there. It's between there and like Redondo. It's in that stretch between like Cherry and Redondo on
Okay, okay, okay.
Broadway. Yeah,
There's
you'll see it.
also,
It's always busy. There's always people outside. It's very lively energy for the neighborhood. It's fun. Yeah.
yeah, there's a Irish bar right near there, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah. There's a whole little around Temple Avenue. There's a lot of different businesses in that area, and it's part of that little corridor. Yeah.
Okay, I passed by there probably a gazillion times, but I've never stopped in. And you're
It's
probably
so
the
good.
third person to tell me that I need to go there. So
You do.
I'll have to make it to
Yeah.
it. Now, Manau, I know about Manau. I've gone to Manau for many years, and I love that's my favorite Thai place in Long Beach. So
Yeah.
I'm
It's
glad you mentioned
delicious.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Those are the ones.
Okay, great. Great. Well,
Yeah.
Trey, it's been such a pleasure getting to know you a little bit better. And I wish you great success after the holiday season, during the holiday season. I know January is probably big for your industry,
Oh
so
yeah. Oh yeah.
I hope for continued success, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Paul.
No problem. This has been a Long Beach thing.